Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video we are going to see another lifecycle method, which is component will unmount lifecycle method. So basically in this video we are going to see these topics, that is first of all what is this component, when do we use it, what is the advantage of it. Then secondly we are going to see a practical example and we are going to write the code and make use of this lifecycle method so that we will understand in exactly which scenarios and how does this component will unmount life cycle method works. And finally we are going to see an interview question based on this. So first of all we will discuss what we have seen so far. So we have seen that in lifecycle methods in React.js there are three lifecycle methods. First is mounting, second is updating, and third is unmounting. Now in mounting we have different lifecycle method like constructor, component did mount. In updating we have different lifecycle methods like component did update and other. And this that we are currently seeing in this video, which is component will unmount, is coming under the unmounting phase of the lifecycle methods. Now this is the last lifecycle method that we are going to see, and with this video we are going to end this topic of lifecycle methods, and we are now with the next video we will enter into next topics of React.js. So now we have understood that the component that we are currently seeing, that is component will unmount lifecycle method, is coming under unmounting phase of lifecycle methods. Now let us first of all see what is component will unmount lifecycle method. The component will unmount method allows us to execute the React code when the component gets destroyed or unmounted from the DOM. This method is called during the unmounting phase of the React lifecycle, that is before the component gets unmounted. So with the word itself we get to know that this lifecycle method will be executed when our component gets destroyed or unmounted. Okay, so now we will see through a live example how does this work. So we will just go to our code editor. So I have taken two components. First one is as always our app.js, and second one I have created second.js. Now to understand this example nicely we need two components. That is why I have taken two components. First one is app.js and second is second.js. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the snippet for class based components. So RCE will give me the class based components for both of them. So I have written this and I will save both of these files. Now as soon as we go on our screen we will get app, because on my front end app component is being rendered. What I will do is I will call second component also in this app component and I will display it also on the screen. So import second, and here I will write something like this. So first app and then second. So if you see now on the screen we have both the components being displayed. Now what we will do is in the second component we will give just a basic heading so that we will understand what that this is second component. So I have written second component, and if you see on the screen we are getting this. Now we don't have to display first component, so that is why I am removing this line. So we automatically gets to know that this is coming from first component. Now what we will do is I will create a button. Basically what I am doing here is I am creating a button. When I will click on that button, the second component will be removed, and again when I will click on that button, second component will be displayed. So that is what we are seeing now. So I will name the button as remove second component. Okay, so now what we want is as soon as we click on it, it should be removed, and when we click again it should be like bring back, or we can, instead of remove, we can say toggle, because we are not just removing on the second click, we are adding also. So I have written toggle second component. Now if we want to toggle something we need a state first of all, so that based on that state value only we can set it to true or false. So what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to create a state. So I'm going to create a constructor. In that I'm going to call a super method, and then I'm going to have my this dot state. Okay, and then I'm going to have my show value as true. So I have set my show value as true initially. Now what I want is I will set the on click event handler over here. So on click, now this dot set state, because we are going to set the state, and inside this I'm going to basically set the state value. So what we have to set is show, right? So show value, I want it to be like if it is true, I want it to be false, and if it is false, I want it to be true. So this dot state dot show, I have saved it. So okay, when I will click on this, what will happen? If the value is true, it will become false. If the value is false, it will become true. So now nothing is happening because we have not written anything. Now what we will do is we will display this second component based on the value of our show. So what I will do here is I will write something like this. So this dot state dot show, so which means that if it is true, we want to display our second component, right? So I will write it here, and if it is false, we will show some message. Okay, like message can be anything, so we will display something as second component removed, so that we will get to know that second component is now removed. So second component removed. So I have saved this. Now when I click on this, you can see second component removed. When I will again click on this, value will be true, so second component is displaying. Now how can we get to know about component will unmount lifecycle method? So what we will do is we will attach a component will unmount lifecycle method here. So I'm going to write component will unmount lifecycle method, and basically inside this we will write a simple alert or any console log we can write, so we will actually get to know when this is getting called, right? So component removed. Okay, I'm saving this. Now what we have done is, first of all, you got to know we have created two components. First one is our app.js, second one is our second.js. In second.js, initially we have written just one statement, and we are calling the second.js in our app.js. Then we have created a button, and we have created this button as a toggle button. When we will click on this button, our state value will change, and based on that our second component will display, or it will just display a simple message. Display or remove, basically we can say our second component will be displayed or it will be removed. So I have saved this. Now we will go back to the screen. So I will refresh it initially. So you see initially second component is getting displayed. As soon as I click on it, you can see it is giving me the alert, that is the second component is now removed, and as soon as I click on OK, it will show me that message. Okay, now again you notice one thing, when I will click on toggle again, you see now I don't get any alert, because that component will unmount lifecycle method is only called when our component is unmounted or destroyed. So unmounted or destroyed means whenever we are removing our second component, at that time only this method is getting called. Okay, and when we are adding it, we will not have that alert message. So in this way we will see again, when I am clicking on this one, now I am removing my second component, that is why I have got this message. And when I will click OK, my message will also update here. And now when I will click here, I am adding my component. So in this case, I am not going to get the alert. So I hope now you have got the understanding how component unmount lifecycle method works, and exactly at what point it gets rendered, so that and what is its usage. So now we will go back to our screen. So now we will go back to our interview question. So what is the interview question for today is, with the introduction of React hooks, how can you achieve cleanup operations similar to component will unmount? So we have already seen before starting our discussion of lifecycle methods, that all these lifecycle methods that we are currently seeing are a part of class-based components. When we go into functional based component, we have something called as hooks, which gives us all of these functionalities of lifecycle methods. But to keep our understanding proper, we just have to understand these lifecycle method also once. So that is why we are understanding them now. So now the question here is, when we make use of functional components, how can we achieve the same functionality that component will unmount provides us? So the answer for this is, in the world of React hooks, the use effect hook provides us a way to perform cleanup operation. The cleanup function is returned from the use effect hook, and it runs before the component is unmounted. So basically the answer for this is, if you want to do the cleanup, we have the hook as use effect hook. So I hope now you have got the understanding of this entire lifecycle method, and with this we are ending up our discussion of lifecycle methods in React.js. With our next videos, we will dive into another topics of React.js. Let me know if you have any doubts regarding this, and if you found this video helpful, please like it and share it amongst your friends. Thanks for watching the video.